Hi there YouTube friends, Kalamaria and welcome back to Mom's Greek Kitchen, the channel where I teach you my mom's Greek recipes in her memory. Today we're doing a seafood dish, Kalamaria Yemista. Calamari is Greek for squid, and Yemista means stuffed. So we're doing calamari or calamaria or calamarica Yemista, or you can put the Yemista first. So we're going to do Kalamaria Yemista. We're going to use the spinach recipe that we did the other day, the spinach and rice combination that is cooked together with tomatoes and onions and other stuff. And we're going to use that to stuff our squid tubes, and then we're going to lightly dredge them in flour, seasoned flour, and then we're going to pan fry them. It's a nice little dish. It takes a little bit of fiddly work to fill them, but they're quite worth it. Alright, so come into the kitchen and I'll show you how you put it together. Alright, we're back. And here's one of our squid. So we don't want the big huge squid, we want something on the smaller end. So this is about, I'm going to say about 4.5, 5 inches long for the tube. And then of course the head part. Now if you were doing calamari or something like that, you would use from in front of the eyes here, you would use this part. You would just pop out the mouth. If I didn't cut through it, I didn't. So that would be our tentacles that we would fry up as well. I'll save that for another use. We're going to pull out the intestines and the head. So I just squeeze on the tube like this. And there's all of the head and the intestines. There's nothing really in here that we would eat. You can take the ink sac if you want, which is this little dark thing here. And take the liquid out, and you would use that for black fettuccine or doing a black risotto or something like that. That's where you get the squid ink from, but for us we're going to throw that away. I'm going to squeeze through again to see if anything else comes out and get rid of that. Now in here, I don't know if you can see that little thing here. This is the, I think they call it the mantle, or it becomes what is called a cuttle bone later. But if you pull on that, you get this lovely, clear, plastic looking bone, I guess it is, or cartilage, that gives shape to the calamari. We can't eat that, so we toss that away. I'm gonna see if there's anything else inside. Just give it a little squeeze on the bottom end. There we go. Get rid of that. Now, the skin is edible, but for presentation we're going to just put it off. And you just basically, it just pulls off really easy, just like that. Just a little bit fiddly. You have to go all the way around and pull off the skin. And if you want to leave the wings on, it's more than okay. They are edible. I'm going to probably leave them on. And that is our, oops, let's get rid of that. And that's our one tube, calamari tube, all nice and clean. I'm going to take it to the tap, I'm going to rinse it off, clean out the inside, give it a rinse, and I'm going to proceed and do that with all the rest of our tubes. And I will be back. Actually, I'll show you one more, just in case I missed something. So here's another squid. We're going to squeeze from the bottom end. And we're going to pull the head off. I'm going to save the tentacles, so just before the eyes. Check to make sure you didn't grab the, I did. This time I got the beak. That's the mouth of the calamari or the squid, and it's a little hard. You don't want to eat that. It's like two little hard half circles or something, like a beak on a bird actually. We're just going to keep the tentacles, We're going to get rid of the head and the ink sac. We're going to make sure there's nothing inside. Run your knife down the outside is another way of doing it. And you can do that again with the knife on the skin. This way usually you lose the wings, so it's up to you which way you want to do it. It goes a little faster. And then don't forget to take out the mantle. You just stick your finger inside, separate it from the top, and then the rest you just pull out. Just like that. Alright. So that's 2 tubes, nice and clean. I will continue until the rest of my squid is done, and then I will be back to show you the next step. Alright, see you soon. Alright, we're back for our next step. So these are all my nicely cleaned calamari tubes. Let's move that camera just a little bit. There we go. So here we go, all nice and clean. All the mantles have been taken out, all the skin and the wings have been taken off. They've been rinsed. So we're ready to fill them now. This is our spinach rice that we just made. You need to have it at least no warmer than room temperature. This has been in the fridge, so this is nice and cold. Now, it's a little fiddly. Mom used to take and use her finger to fill it all, or a teaspoon depending on how big they were. It's a really futzy little job. So when I came along, I had better ideas for this. So you can use a piping bag, but this filling is a little thick. So if you're going to use a piping bag, make sure it's a cloth piping bag, not the plastic ones. They tend to rip. You can try a Ziploc bag with a corner cut out. Make sure it's a big enough hole and treat it gently. But I'm going to use this. So it's a metal cookie press. It's aluminum. It's got a screw handle on it. And one of the attachments is this. So we're going to fill the container with this spinach chorizo. You can still find these around. You can also use the kind that are like more of a trigger kind of gun, like a squeeze bottle type of contraption. But this one works really well. So I'm going to fill it up. Try not to get any air in there. Just for when you're filling it, won't go pop when you're filling your calamari. Okay, and then I'm going to put my top on. And so as I turn the handle, it forces the filling up. Alright, now when you're filling the calamari, do not overfill them, because when you fry them, which is what we'll be doing next, so I'm just going to give it a squeeze or two here. That's good. No, one more squeeze, I think. Alright. So you want them to be full, but you want some slack in them. You don't want them like getting to the point where they're going to burst. Because when you fry these, the calamari itself will shrink, and the filling will be squeezed out if you've got too much. And if you're frying it and the calamari or the filling is on a wetter side, it'll sputter and make a mess. Alright, so here again, I'll show you again. So you put the nozzle in, you hold it with one finger on the bottom, you give it a couple of turns, and basically it almost forces itself off the tip when it's sort of near that point. So again, I just reshape it a little bit and go ahead. Let me just go one more, because I wasn't paying attention to see if the camera was, if I was on. So there we go. One more squeeze. Alright. So there's our calamari. I'm just going to reshape it. I've left the tip empty basically. And I'm going to continue with the rest of them. and I'll be back with the next step. Alright, we're back for our next step. So in my plate here I have some flour, and I'm going to season it. So I'm using some seasoned salt. And some pepper. And some garlic powder. Mix it up a little bit. Alright, so here we have our stuffed calamari. We're going to make sure it's not too full. If there is, we'll just pull out some of the stuffing. We're going to grab a toothpick and we're going to go in one side and out the other. Come on. Come on. There we go. So we're going to push our toothpick through, which will keep our filling from coming out. And we're just going to dredge our calamari in the seasoned flour. We're not doing a breading, so we're not doing eggs and flour and breadcrumbs. So it's just the seasoned flour. And then we're going to shake off the extra, and we're going to put it to the side until we do the rest of our calamari. So here I'll show you again. So this one I did not overstuff, so I don't have to take anything out. I'm going to grab a toothpick. I'm going to go in. Could have sharper toothpicks. And out the other side to seal it. Come on. There we go. So just like that. Alright, and then into our flour. Get it all nice and coated. Shake off the extra and put it to the side. So I'm going to continue until I have the rest of my calamari done, and I will be back with our next step. Alright, we're back for our next step. So here's my filled, sealed, and floured calamari. Alright, I think we've got about 20 of them or so on this package. I've got my burner on. I'm going to add some oil. You want a pretty high heat. I'm using olive oil. Alright, so that's maybe 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch on the bottom of my pan. I'm going to wait till it gets nice and hot. And I have a plate with some paper towels on it to receive the ones that are done. So some of the oil will come off of it. And then we're just going to put in our calamari. I think I'll wait just a little bit longer. You want a nice fast fry, because if you cook it a little too slow, the calamari is likely to get rubbery. And we don't want that. Okay, I think we're good enough now. Yeah, that's better. And don't overcrowd the pan, and try and get all the same size calamari in one layer. Then we can do the smaller ones in the next one, because they take less time to cook. So at the moment I have my burner on at max temperature. I will probably turn it down as it gets hotter. As you can see, I didn't seal this one very well, so it's squirting out its intestines. Oops, the filling. So I'm going to take that one out. But these other ones are cooking up nicely. And they do spit, so be careful. Like that. I'm going to get my spatter guard. So as you can see, we don't cook them very long. I had a few explode on me. I tend to overfill them, so I was expecting that. So don't be greedy like me and underfill them. It's been a while since I made them. And there's our second batch. Alright, and our second batch is done. This went a little bit better. I didn't overfill the little ones as much. I got one or two that decided to blow up, but most of them stayed okay. So you want a nice light brown color. Right, and I'll be back to show you what they look like when they cool down a bit. Alright, and we are back. So there's some of our stuffed calamari. I'm going to cut one in half to show you what it looks like. Alright, and there we are. These are probably going to be too hot yet, but yeah, those are good. Nice and tender. You have the the tasty filling inside with a little bit of the seafood from the calamari on the outside. Great for any of the seafood lovers in your family. They're not very seafoody because of the filling, so you may even want to try it on those who aren't seafood lovers. I'm sure they would like it. I hope you try the video, or you try the recipe, sorry. Let your friends know. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you next time with another recipe. Alright, take care. Have a lovely day. Bye bye.